Hello and welcome. Today I have a PS2 Slim. I think I got it from Goodwill or some other thrift store. It has a lot of dirtiness and some scratches, but it also doesn't read DVDs, but it reads CDs. So it's probably a poorly tuned laser. So it's a pretty easy fix. So let's replace it. Thinking that's just an easy little laser replacement. Bought these from XYAB. And you always just want to make sure that this is the same laser as that. So on this one, it has that little lip there. That one has a little lip on it too. So these are, I believe, the PVR 802W. So there's, I think, two different lasers for slims. And then there's two different lasers for the fats as well. So you gotta be sure to know which one is which. Generally, they have a different physical appearance. But anyway, yeah, let's get into it. So this one hasn't been opened. You could heat gun remove the warranty label, but I generally don't care. I've never had anybody question or complain about it. I just remove it just because it's easy. But anyway, there's, I think, 6 screws here. There's none on these. It's just the corners and all these little pads here. So I think they're in there. Just want to pop those out. Now let's get a spudger so I don't scratch it up. So you have the little plastic ones, they just pop out. There's just 4 clips on either side. And that just comes right out. I think they're all the same type of screws as well, just the long screws that go through the chassis. And what are these? Phillips heads? Alright, let's get Phillips head 2. Just so we don't strip it out. Nope, 2 is too big. I think it's probably the 1. Alright, it just snaps out. And yeah, I'll get this cleaned up. Soap bath, nothing too fancy. It doesn't look too dirty in there, but I'll blow it out here real quick. Real quick. So generally, you might want to, if you don't have a bunch of lasers on hand, you might want to try cleaning this off. There is a potentiometer on these. I know a lot of people say there aren't, but like on the new laser, you can see there's 2 potentiometers, and it's the same as the PS2 fat. One's for the CD and the other one's for the DVD. A lot of people don't like doing the tweaks on this because you got to take it off the rail, flip it over, screw it, tweak it a little bit, and then put it back. So I'm in the same boat. I really don't like doing it, so I just replace it. You could probably clean the lens off a little bit and maybe that'll fix your problems. But generally, I just replace lasers just because it's a little easier than just because eventually it'll fail again. And yeah, and you have an angry customer coming back to you saying, "Hey, you've sold me a defective product." And yeah, I don't deal with that. I'd rather just do it right the first time and make my buck, not have to deal with returns. And so this rail is nasty. So generally, if you don't have lithium grease, then you probably should get some, but that's generally what they use on these little worm gears. And yeah, that one had a lot of hair in it. I'll have to see if I can use my spudger to get that little bit of gunk out. Alright, well, I guess I'm going to try to replace the CMOS battery. Since I have a few, I'm not too sure what kind this one takes, whether or not it's a coin battery or a connector with a JP something. But generally, don't want to screw these up too much. That one has a little tab on it. So that comes right out. Alright, and that goes to the front. Does this come straight out then? Is there any other screws on this? So I really don't want to undo a lot of screws. Okay. That's pretty nasty. There's some water damage there. A lot of water damage, honestly. So let's see if we can get rid of a lot of that as presentable as possible. I'm using white vinegar just to kind of get some of that rust off. Hopefully it's not too bad. That's pretty bad. Okay, well, so we see a bunch of screws holding things in. I don't know if CMOS battery is underneath this part. Doesn't look like it would be. It's probably underneath this, if anywhere. So it looks like these are screw inserts. So let's get those screw inserts out. I need a smaller screw bit for that. Okay. All right, well, let's get the drive off too. Underneath here, I'll show you after I get it out, but there is a little ribbon connector held on by a flip cable. I guess so. I thought it was going to be a little snap block type deal, but it's a flip block. Okay, so we got that. See, and this one has those two little screws as well, or a potentiometer, so you can change the laser voltage and all that. But you see how hard it is to get to it. You had to unplug all these cables, and yeah, it's not a fun time. But anyway, okay, so then there's another screw. Oh, so that's why that didn't have a screw down there. Now, that's interesting why they didn't actually use a longer screw. Goes to show you how much cost cutting people go through on these projects, because it gets expensive when you have 100 million of these produced. You save 1 cent and you can save a lot of it off. Don't forget the ESD barrier. Yeah, everything looks okay. That doesn't look bad. This is probably the central processing unit, and this is probably their proprietary graphics chip. Not graphics, but their connector chip here. This needs to come out. Okay, this one's actually the push lock. Okay, that came out. Okay, these aren't too bad. All right, we need to get this power cable off. Oh, maybe not. Okay, it's just a coin battery. And of course it's over here. Of course. So how do we get these little 3 wires out without damaging it? There's no real way of doing this without breaking the tape. I'll put some Kapton tape back on it just to ensure it's properly routed. And yeah, so don't really need to go into there too much. So this should just pop right out. Positive's usually always on top. There we go. Hey, all right. Looks like it got like water damage or something. So let's see if I got any of the 2032s. All right, just got a cheap little LICB. Should last like a year or two. It'll be all right. So I got that in there. That looks pretty good on there. Looks relatively clean under here, so it's not too much of an issue. We got a couple inductors. These caps look pretty decent. Got another inductor. Looks like a 4 Henry, 4.7 Henry. These look pretty good. No leaking or anything around the bases. These look alright. We got a MOSFET, BJT or IBGT. And then we got our graphics unit. Actually, no, that's the graphics unit. A lot of Sony proprietary stuff. Who would have thought? I might just use isopropyl alcohol on that. That's just too hard to get into, too hard to get off. I'm still probably more thorough than DK Oldies or Lukey Games or whatever they're called. So, yeah. Need to align the holes up. Like so. Make sure that's okay. Okay, so before we get all this into there, we need to get the laser off, which is just the little pop bar here. So it's retained by these two little brackets. So let's get those off now. And then just comes pop off, pop off. There we go. We need to keep that. We also need to keep this little screw. Yeah, that's it. That's all it takes to get it off. I'm gonna save these because maybe one day I'll actually get to, tweak with it and see if these actually can be tuned. But it's an extreme pain in the butt. All right, so I'll set that off to the side. And then while all that is off, I'll take a Q-tip and some lithium grease and just start applying it onto the worm gear just to get a new fresh coat. And because over time it will wear, and yeah, but right now a nice fresh coat will help smooth and reduce that scratching sound when you're moving it, or when it's moving up and down on there. And then that doesn't sound like it's going to make any noise, but yeah. Oop, what was this? Oh, it's part of that. Okay. So now with the new laser, they usually have a little solder bridge on here. And yeah, there it is. So on these, make sure not to touch that. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put on my new gloves. So there's three little bridges here that connect with that solder blob. It's generally there just to reduce ESD chances and all that. So you short all the grounds and power together, and they all go to the same point and discharge. So it's a lot less risky shipping. All right, where's my? Here that is. Okay, and so it goes like so, and yeah, it'd probably be easier to get that out of the way, and then the rails go on that side. Yes. And so we want to get this thing on the new ribbon, not the new ribbon, but we want to be sure not to ruin this ribbon. A lot of newbies, including me at one point, it's pretty easy to tear that ribbon off. It's all it is polyimide, basically capped on tape. So let me get that up and through. There we go. Nice, nice, nice. And grab a new Q-tip and get this bar back into there. Have it go through. It should just go like that, like that. And get these old little brackets back on. Sure you get it all nice and all over the place on there, just to help smooth it out, because when it does move, it goes, the worm gear moves like that, and then we get more onto here, and it just moves on like back. So just get it nice and lubed up, and we're good to go. Or at least lasers. Okay, it's lasering stuff. So, thanks for watching this video. Kind of learned a little bit on the way. Used 3 lasers. Probably didn't need to. Little clicking sound inside. I think it was just the railing was slipping off the worm gear. But gotta make sure you have that solder glob completely off, and yeah, I gotta make sure that little rail is actually on the worm gear, and then There's two switches in there. You hold the one brown one in the back and one in the front, and you can see the laser light up or not. And that's pretty surefire thing to see if the laser's working. If it's working, then you hear that clicking, change the worm gear. Oh, but if you like that, leave a comment suggesting anything you want. I'll see if I can get more different consoles, but probably going to be starting reoccurring the same things. Yeah, or subscribe if you really do want to see some more. I got a lot of stuff to get through, and we can get to it.